Hello, my name is Ash, a counselor in training. This is my Relatable study podcast for individuals who need help studying for their NCE, CPCE, and other related counseling exams. I'm going to go through many questions from multiple resources and make the answers relatable to both you and me. So get your listening ears on and let's get studying.
What is volitional control? Volitional control is the ability to consciously regulate one's own actions and choices, and is the mental mechanism that allows individuals to choose their actions deliberately. For example, there are times where I want to scream in public and tell people to leave me alone, but I am deliberately choosing to use coping skills such as deep breathing and walking away from the situation rather than yelling at people. One future trend which seems contradictory is that some experts are pushing for A, greater resilience on tests while others want to rely on them less. B, social workers do most of the testing. C, psychiatrists do most of the testing. D, counselors to ban all computer-assisted tests. The answer is A. One future trend which seems contradictory is that some experts are pushing for a greater resilience on tests while others want to rely on them less. In this sentence alone, one half of these experts are pushing on the reliance on tests, where the other half of these experts want to rely on them less. These are contradictory of this trend, whereas the social workers, psychiatrists, are pushing for more of the testing and counselors ban all computer-assisted tests are not contradictory. What are voluntary clients? Voluntary clients are individuals who are willing to choose to enter counseling rather than being mandated by the courts. For example, I am a voluntary client who is seeking out their own counseling and choosing counseling rather than being mandated by the courts. I know I need help, so I am going to go get that help. Racism that includes discriminatory practices within systems of power, for example, public education and government agencies, is known as which of the following? A. Internalized racism. B. Interpersonal racism. C. Implicit racism. D. Institutional racism. The answer is D, institutional racism. Institutional racism does refer to the systematic operation of societal institutions in ways that favor certain groups over others. And these social institutions can include public education and government agencies. I recommend looking back onto the U.S. history because institutional racism has happened in school settings as well as government agencies. What is vulnerability stress model? The vulnerability stress model is a theory proposing that mental disorders are a result of the interaction predispositional vulnerability and stress. In addition, this model explains that the risk factors develop a psychiatric disorder that depends on two factors: biological vulnerability and stress. The vulnerability stress models helps mental health practitioners understand how genetics and stress intersect to affect an individual's risk of experiencing these mental health problems. That is all 5 questions for this episode. Thank you for listening. Keep calm and study on.